Alright, let's talk about something that's both hilarious and cringeworthy, the absolute fashion disasters that have graced college football fields in the 21st century. I mean, we all know sports uniforms can be hit or miss, but some of these are so far into miss territory, they've practically invented a new category. So, buckle up, because we're diving into the ugliest college football uniforms of the century, and trust me, it's a wild ride. First up, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the neon fever dream that was Michigan State's 2019 alternate jersey. Now, personally, I think there's a fine line between bold and just plain baffling, and this uniform leaps over that line with a cannonball. What makes this really interesting is how it completely misses the mark of what Michigan State's identity is all about. When I think of the Spartans, I think of grit, discipline, and a no-nonsense approach to football. But this looks like someone spilled a highlighter factory on the field. The neon green is so loud, it's practically screaming for attention, and not in a good way. What many people don't realize is that uniforms aren't just about aesthetics, they are about representing a team's culture. And this feels like a betrayal of everything Michigan State stands for. If you take a step back and think about it, it's almost like they were trying to be Oregon, but forgot Oregon's whole brand is being bold. Michigan State's brand is being, well, Spartan. This uniform is anything but. Now, let's pivot to Florida's infamous Gatorskin uniforms from 2017. As a Gator fan myself, I'll admit these are a tough pill to swallow. Conceptually, I get it, alligators are cool, and the idea of a Gator-inspired uniform has potential. But the execution? Yikes. The scales on the jersey look like something out of a low-budget video game, and the mismatched pants just add insult to injury. What this really suggests is that sometimes, less is more. Florida's traditional uniforms are iconic for a reason, they are clean, classic, and timeless. This attempt at innovation felt like a desperate grab for attention, and it backfired spectacularly. In my opinion, if you're going to go bold, you better nail it. And this was a swing and a miss. Next, let's talk about Georgia's Silver Bullet blunder from 2011. Now, Georgia has some of the most iconic uniforms in college football, clean, classic, and instantly recognizable. So, what possessed them to roll out these silver and black monstrosities? One thing that immediately stands out is their helmet. Gunmetal gray with a giant red stripe. It looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, and not in a good way. What many people don't realize is that sometimes, the best uniforms are the ones that don't try too hard. Georgia's traditional look is perfect because it's simple and timeless. This modernized version felt like a cheap knockoff. If you take a step back and think about it, it's almost like Nike was trying to fix something that wasn't broken, and ended up breaking it. Now, let's tackle Maryland's flag-inspired uniforms. Look, I get it, state pride is a big deal. But when your flag is as busy as Maryland's, slapping it all over a football uniform feels like sensory overload. What makes this really interesting is how it highlights the fine line between celebrating your identity and just being outright chaotic. Personally, I think Maryland has a great mascot in the Terrapin, but these uniforms completely overshadow it. It's like they were so focused on the flag that they forgot what they were actually trying to represent. If you take a step back and think about it, uniforms should enhance a team's identity, not distract from it. They are a distraction, and not in a good way. Finally, let's address the Iowa State Pooh Bear debacle. Flesh-colored pants? In 2023. Who signed off on this? What makes this really interesting is how it's not just ugly, it's downright confusing. Were they going for a throwback look? If so, why not take some creative liberties? What this really suggests is that sometimes, teams get so caught up in the idea of being unique that they lose sight of common sense. Personally, I think throwbacks can be great, but they need to be executed thoughtfully. This felt like a prank gone wrong. If you take a step back and think about it, it's a perfect example of how trying too hard can backfire spectacularly. So, what's the bigger takeaway here? Uniforms matter, a lot. They are not just about looking good, they are about representing a team's identity, culture, and history. When they miss the mark, it's not just a fashion fail, it's a missed opportunity to connect with fans and honor tradition. But hey, at least these uniforms give us something to laugh about, right? What do you think? Which of these uniforms is the worst offender? Let me know in the comments, I'm curious to hear your take.